Shalom, my name is Michael Decker, and I'm a lawyer within the law offices of Decker, Pex, and Ophir & Co. Today, in our framework of nonprofit work, I wanted to discuss an interesting matter regarding Ottoman associations which exist in Israel. Basically, as anyone that's aware of the history of this region will know, the land of Israel was under various authorities in the last couple hundred years, and even more, of course. But we will go back to the Ottoman Empire, which was ruling here. And even when the Ottoman Empire was ruling here, there were nonprofit organizations. And in the year 1909, a law regarding Ottoman associations was basically established. And under this law, a nonprofit association that wanted to operate in Israel had to establish an Ottoman association. This law is basically adopted in many ways from similar French structures that exist. After the British took over in Israel, in the land of Israel, they couldn't just abolish all these associations that existed. The natural transition of powers usually, in most cases, involves maintaining some sort of order and maintaining similar structures that existed. And therefore, the British adopted this Ottoman association structure. And when the state of Israel was established, which was almost overnight in many ways, even the state of Israel couldn't just abolish the previous legal structures that exist and create immediately new laws. So the state of Israel more or less adopted most of the British laws that existed, and over time developed things and amended different laws that possibly didn't make sense. So basically, in the year 1980, the Amutot Law was enacted. And the Amutot Law basically prevented from new Ottoman associations from being established. And basically, since 1980, in order to establish a nonprofit organization, you had to either establish an Amutah, or you could also have established a nonprofit company according to the company's law. An Amutah was very regulated in a healthy way. For example, donations made to an Amutah, the donor naturally wants the donation to further the objectives of the Amutah. Therefore, the Amutot registrar was basically inspecting to make sure that the funds were used to advance these objectives. In addition, according to the Amutot Law, you have various inspections on an Amutah, such as having board members, audit committee members, proper reporting to the Amutot authority, and every year a nonprofit, an Amutah, should apply for a proper management certificate, and if an Amutah doesn't have one, this is published to the public. Recently, in the last decade, also nonprofit companies are required to meet these similar transparency regulations, because the company's law was amended so that this will be the case for nonprofit companies. So basically, until very recently, until July 2021, the only organizations that were nonprofit which existed that didn't have any inspection were these Ottoman associations. So in July 2021, Gidon Sal basically enacted regulations that made sure that also these Ottoman associations now will be regulated. So from now on, Ottoman associations do need to report. They are subject to transparency regulations. And more or less, they will be compared now to Amutot and to nonprofit companies. Our office has many nonprofits that we represent on a regular basis. either for projects or for ongoing representation. If you're interested in our services, either to establish a nonprofit organization or to maintain a nonprofit organization or to advise ad hoc on any question regarding nonprofit law in Israel, you can feel free to contact us and we'll be happy to respond and to answer you. Thank you very much for your time.